I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting for the City of Springdale for January 21st, 2026. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Browder, if you take roll.
Mr. Gleaves.
Present.
Mr. Hall.
Present.
Mr. Jacobs.
Present.
Ms. McFarland.
Present.
Ms. Thompson.
Present.
Mrs. Webster.
Present.
Mr. Anderson.
Council, in your packets, you had the copy of the January 7th, 2026 meeting minutes. What is your pleasure?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions, discussion, updates, or changes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as published signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The minutes are approved unanimously. All right, next we'll move on to committee and official reports. First up, Civil Service Commission, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Council. The Springdale Civil Service Commission, we did meet on January the 8th, and the members present was myself and Mrs. McNair. Mr. Dunnigan had a previous commitment, so he was unavailable. Following a disposition of the minutes from the December meeting, a motion was made to approve those minutes, and that motion passed 2-0 as well. In addition to the status update on current vacancies, which included the police clerk hiring process, and we were happy to report that that candidate was in the background process. And the other update was the public works maintenance worker hiring process, and unfortunately, that candidate did not move forward in the hiring process. So we moved forward with the new business items, and there were two new business items. The first one was the police officer timeline, which was presented to the commission due to the future retirement of a police officer. Mr. McNair made a motion to approve the timeline, excuse me, and it was seconded by myself, and that motion passed 2-0. The second item was the public works maintenance worker timeline, and that timeline was presented in order to add to the present list of candidates. Mrs. McNair made the motion to approve that timeline, and that one was also seconded by myself, and the motion passed 2-0. Other than those two items, there was just some correspondence, and the correspondence was reviewed, and we moved on. Any questions? Seeing none?
I don't see none. Thank you, Mr. Coleman, for taking my part. All right, next we'll move on to Finance Committee. Ms. Webster.
Thank you. I have a report about general fund activity through December 31st, 2025. General fund beginning balance December 1st, 2025, $6,960,646. Revenues for December, $1,646,699. Expenditures for December, $2,442,404. General fund ending balance December 31st, 2025, $6,164,941. Thank you.
I don't see any questions. Next, we'll move on to Planning Commission. Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. President. Planning Commission met on January the 13th. The Commission held no official vote, but did affirm by acclamation that Member Oakham shall remain Chair, Member Galster Vice Chair, and Member Ramirez as Secretary. One applicant for a map amendment request from office building OB to general industrial GI for clauses by design and shine on Century Boulevard was heard. It was noted that the area around the development is already a very diverse mix of GI, OB, PUD, and GB already. The applicant was present to answer questions. The preliminary plans for the development were not part of the meeting, just to approve the map amendment, and the Commission approved the map amendment with 6 affirmative votes. And that's all I have unless there are any questions.
All right, don't say any. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next Board of Zoning Appeals will be held on the 27th of this month at 7 p.m. If, in fact, it does go with the applicant and there is a meeting, Mr. Gleaves and I will be prepared for a conclusive report to the council.
Don't see any questions. Next, we'll move on to Board of Health. Ms. McFarland.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Board of Health last met January 8th in these chambers. We reviewed the Commissioner's report, beginning with SMART goals for workforce development plan. Those were presented to us, and we will provide feedback to the Commissioner by the next meeting. The food program, Slick City did complete their 30-day inspection, and then we have several that are in construction pending, including Quick Trip, Smoothie King, Firehouse Subs, Family, Diaz Butcher Shop, and then the Hamilton County Communication Center that just recently opened on Tri-County Parkway had some vending machines that had to be approved. We did review the priorities for the Community Health Improvement Plan, and those included substance use and abuse, continue vaccine support, homebound patients, healthy lifestyles, health promotion and education, and public health preparedness. And those were ranked by the members of the board. The Health Department Employee of the Month was Hannah Runyon. And then from the nurses report, we did have 2 reported cases of COVID-19, 3 cases of the flu, 2 cases of salmonella, and they did 7 additional vaccine days during the month to reach some additional patients. So they did reach 32 patients with 67 vaccines given, and the blood pressure clinic for the month, they were able to complete 46 screenings. Our next meeting will be Thursday, February 12th.
Don't see any questions. Thank you. Next, OKI. The OKI board did meet on January 8th. 2 items of note for council. One, we did a review of the public participation plan. There's 4 elements to it. It's the way that the board interacts across the region with the public. And as a general practice, they update their communications plan with the public at least every 4 years. To ensure that it's updated with current laws, changing to address growing tech use, that things are written in plain language that's relevant to today, and how OKI would work in general for its communication plan. I just bring that up because I think it's a great practice that they use, just as a regular practice, reviewing how they interact with the public just as a matter of principle, and looking at the technology and the language. It's just something that's noteworthy, especially for such an impactful board. I think it's great that they do that. The other thing that we addressed was a TIP amendment. We added 4 highway projects and 7 transit projects for funding as part of the board meeting. Other than that, that's all I have to report on OKI. All right. Next, we'll move on to the mayor's report. Mayor Hawkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, there will be several exciting developments with regard to our Parks and Rec Department this year. You're going to get to hear some of that from Mr. Wilson tonight, as he's going to do a presentation regarding one of those projects, but there'll be even more to come, hopefully later on this year. Secondly, we had the Coaches Memorial Hall of Fame and Springdale Pep Rally on January the 9th. Bob Deal and Ken Fight were inducted into the Hall of Fame, and thank you to their families for sharing them with the city of Springdale, and appreciate all that they've gone through and helped with young people coming up in sports over their years. This Thursday, January 22nd, we'll be conducting a meeting at Heritage Hill Elementary School. This is going to cover topics involving spring soccer signups. It's going to also go over registration with our tax department, as well as how you get registered with the rec center as well. So membership for that. That meeting is going to be at 5 o'clock at Heritage Hill Elementary School. All people are welcome to attend that meeting. Speaking with Principal Erica Zelita Lastra, she's been instrumental and very helpful with regard to making that happen. So we appreciate her and hope folks come out to learn some more about those topics. Next, there have been a couple of different things that have happened over the last 30 days or so with multiple elected officials. And so I want to make sure, as a reminder with regard to what folks are doing, not doing, and where those parameters are in terms of what city operations are, and making sure that we're not getting involved in that. And so operations include what vehicles, facilities, what people are doing, what types of city business. Operations also include making sure that we're not giving any city employees direction directly to them. It's important with regard to that because it can get the city into hot water and it can also disrupt operations. The employees are not council's employees directly. They've got people that they're reporting to. So council does not have to worry. I know one individual had asked about if they have to discipline folks. Council doesn't have to worry about hiring, firing, or disciplining employees. Employees are tasked from the department heads to take care of certain things a certain way at a certain time. And so it's important to make sure that that's not something that's going to be interfered with. So if there's instruction that's given, or it appears to be instruction given, that employee may take that instruction. They may end up doing something that's contrary to what the department head has asked them to do. That's going to be a problem. Or if it's something contrary to Mr. Yule or Ms. Morgan's asked them to do, that's also going to be an issue that could result in that employee being disciplined up to and including termination. The other issue is if the request or the ask is contrary to policy, it can result in that employee ending up bringing action against the city for acting outside the scope of their employment. We can get sued for that. Or if they do something that's beyond their job description and something happens outside the city that has a negative impact, we get sued from that as well. Some have asked in the past, I know there was a recent request with regard to doing a ride-along. Folks are always welcome to go through and do that. Make sure that if you do that, make that request through Mr. Yule. Please don't go and ask our chiefs or men and women that are in law enforcement or our firefighters, EMTs directly. Let Mr. Yule get that set up for you. If you go on a ride-along, it's also important. This is something that pseudo took place, not in a ride-along, but in a different context years ago, that you're not talking about salaries, hours of work, anything that may unwittingly open up negotiations, because that can happen easily if you get into that kind of thing. So just as a heads up to make sure that no one runs afoul of those things. Lastly, everybody's import up here is important. And so anything that you guys say, everybody lives in different segments of the city, everybody travels through different segments of the city. You see something, please say something. Please call Mr. Yule or Ms. Morgan. They will make sure that whoever it is that needs to address that situation, they'll take care of it in quick haste. And also, if anybody has any questions with regard to issues, roles, tasks, I am always available. I've sat in the seat that everybody sat in as a district rep as well as a at-large rep. I'm always open to questions. I know Mr. Braun is always open to questions as well regarding any of these things that may come up. Lastly, there's an event called the Chamber Chat on January the 28th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Northern Cincinnati Chamber of Commerce. It's right off of East Kemper Road is their headquarters. Myself and Mayor Kevin Hardman from Sharonville will be there to discuss developments with regard to our respective cities and answer questions that folks may have as well. With that, that concludes my report.
All right, I don't see any questions. Next, we'll move on to Administrator's Report. Mr. Yule.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few quick items, and then I believe Ms. Morgan has an item or two. First off, we received a couple phone calls from residents. Just wanted to make sure everyone knows that the Metropolitan Sewer District is in our area, and we had a representative come a couple months ago to talk about some of the issues and problems that they have with their sanitary sewers with backup, and they've identified a multitude of properties where the rainwater is discharging within their sanitary sewer line. So they've been sending letters out to those affected properties, and our police department's responded out for a suspicious person as well. They are wearing some high-vis clothing, but just wanted to make sure that people know that MSD is in the area, and they have been sending letters out for those affected properties. So if you see them in and about the area, that's what they're looking for, is the gutters and downspouts that are draining directly into their sanitary sewer lines, causing some additional concerns and backups in their system. Secondly, I had emailed out the Center for Local Government's new elected official training. If anyone is interested in that, just please let me know, and I'll get you registered for that as well. I believe it's sometime in March, so let me know if you are interested, and we'll get you registered. And lastly, a bit of good news here. We have found a finance officer tax commissioner,
and she is currently in the background process. So we're hoping to get that individual hired here in the next couple weeks. We're looking at potentially the end of March, maybe early part of April. So that's a huge relief to us. I know a bigger relief to Ms. Morgan, in addition to some of her other roles and responsibilities. So with that, that's the end of my report, and I'll turn things over to Ms. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Yule. On the financial front, the 2025 W-2s are now available through your Paylocity accounts. You may have received an email or a pop-up notification from your Paylocity app if you have that on your phone. The city is set up for electronic delivery only, therefore you will not be receiving a paper copy. Of note, the Paylocity program is compatible with a number of commercially available tax preparation software programs. So that means you can import your W-2 information directly into one of those programs if you complete your taxes on your own. So, thank you.
All right, don't see any questions. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Law Director's report. Mr. Braun.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report tonight.
Engineers report. Mr. Riggs.
Thank you. Just two quick items. The East Kemper Improvements Phase 1 project, we're getting close to wrapping up the design phase of that. We received 95% plan review comments on December 17th, and we're looking to go to bid sometime early in February. The exact date hasn't been determined yet, but it'll probably be in that first week is what we're expecting of February to be advertised. The other project is the Northland Kemper Intersection Realignment and Shared Use Path. The project schedules was pushed back to FY28, to fiscal year 28, and that was due to be to allow more time to acquire some of the right-of-way and easements needed on that property. ODOT felt it was best to push the date back, and we agreed. So with that, the project schedule changed a little bit. We're going to go to submit stage 1 plans, which is basically like a 60% design level in March of this year. But the project is tentatively scheduled to be bid in November of 2027 and June, and go to construction, complete construction in June of 2029. So again, that was to allow a longer run time period for right-of-way acquisitions. And that's all I have.
There's one question. Mr. Yule.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Riggs, I meant to touch base with you prior to tonight's meeting. Next month, council will see the dedication or the acceptance of the roadway improvements for Glen Springs. I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to add. I know they've all received your letter recommending the public improvements that have been made as a result of the Wawa improvement or Wawa development. Didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to add to that before they see that next month.
No, I don't believe so. I think everything else is in good order.
All right. Thank you. All right, next we'll move on to the Zoning Code Revision Committee. Mr. Gleaves.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Zoning Code Revision Committee convened on January 12th in the conference room with participation from city staff, representative from McBride, Dale Clarion, and members of the Board of Zoning Appeals and Planning Commission. The committee continued to review an updated land use table along with in-depth discussions about zoning classifications and proposed changes in order to better align with the lack of office use seen today. That's all I have for my report.
All right, I don't see any questions. Next, we'll move on to the America 250 Special Committee. Ms. Webster.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a meeting January 13th. Mr. Jacobs, myself, Mr. Yule, Stephanie Lawrence, Mr. Hawkins, and we just tossed around a few things about what we could do and will do and can't do. So we're having another meeting February 4th before our council meeting. But I have this brochure that has a few things that people in the audience and or on TV and watching might be interested in. I have some websites. Now they're having something called Going to the Movies. Ohio Goes to the Movies. Now they're going to do movies around the state of people that have made movies or from Ohio. Our heartthrobs like Paul Newman and Clark Gable. Then they have the 2000, the celebration of a train, Buckeye 250 train and transportation celebration. That is Denison Depot Railroad Museum DenisonDepot.org. On the movies, it's OhioGoesToTheMovies.org. And if you want to learn anything about this, all these things and everything they're going to do in the state, you can go to American250Ohio.com. There's a lot of stuff that everybody, of course, is going to do, and we've had a lot of ideas, brainstorming. It was a really good meeting, and I hope a lot of firm stuff comes out of our next one. Thank you.
Sounds good. All right, don't see any questions. That's the end of committee and official reports. Next, we'll move on to communications. Ms. Browder, are there any communications for council this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. No communications.
All right, next, we'll move on to communications from the audience. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience that would like to address council for any reason. Simply come forward to the podium, state your name and address, and you can address council for up to 5 minutes. The floor is now open.
Hello. I'm Daniel Messer. Do I need to state anything else?
Your address, if you don't mind.
Okay, 12182 Springdale Lake Drive. I just wanted to inform council and the public that I had an initiative that I wanted to push forward for Heritage Hill, and I'm happy to say that I got very good feedback from Mayor Hawkins. We actually sat down, had a meeting, and talked about it. What could happen right away, what needed to maybe take a little more time. And I just appreciate, some of the positive feedback I got from council and also from Mr. Hawkins. Just briefly to describe what it was that I presented, I just had a feeling that there would be, my daughter volunteered for a program at Heritage Hill Elementary, which was an after-school program that allowed kids to participate in soccer. There was a lot of soccer games and character building. It was also something that was made possible by the Vineyard Community Church, and then also the City Gospel Mission as well, and their youth program. And so with those groups combined and then working with the school, it was a very successful program. They had about 50 kids sign up. I believe they were just 4th and 5th graders, and they had really good participation. The principal and teachers noted that it gave a lot of incentive for kids to, have better behavior and in order to participate in it. What that got me thinking was that, with our current SAY soccer program, that maybe we could, kind of be a part of that as well. There was definitely plenty of interest, and as far as I'm aware, a lot of those kids haven't signed up for SAY sports, so that was where I reached out to Mr. Hawkins and others to try to bridge that gap a little bit if there was anything that we could do. One of the big things I saw was a need to try to streamline the process of getting parents registered with the tax department and then with the rec center, which always seemed like maybe a difficult hurdle for some people, especially if English isn't your first language, which in Heritage Hill is quite common. So these are some of the problems that I think Mayor Hawkins is trying to help, solve. Also, as part of the initiative, I wanted to try to get the use of the Chamberlain Park field because it's right there in that neighborhood, and that is, there's a few hurdles to that, and I'm aware of those, and that was what was helpful with the discussion with Mr. Hawkins was understanding, what the challenges were to doing that, but it's still, not a no. It's a we're going to see what we can do type of thing. So I appreciated all of that, and I just thought that the community should know that if you do have something you want to present, that it's not falling on deaf ears, but members of council and our mayor are more than willing to help. So, and I appreciate anyone else who was involved in that too, maybe Charlie as well and others. But thank you.
Hang on a second, Mayor Hawkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Mr. Messer, I appreciate we're being informal. Daniel, I appreciate the idea with regard to bringing forward what was going on with regard to that satellite program over to Heritage Hill and those kids. And it's a great opportunity for us to try to increase our enrollment in the base, as well as reaching out to any and all community members, whether they're going to engage in our spring soccer or what have you, to make sure they understand how to get registered with the city tax department and get registered with the rec center. So we're gonna make that as easy as we can. I've got a box of documents in my office to take to the meeting tomorrow in English and Spanish with regard to getting registered with our tax department, as well as getting registered with our rec center. And so it's going to be a good thing for the city. And I can't speak enough for Miss Erica Zlata-Lastra. She's been very, very helpful. She indicated with regard to that program that was going on regarding soccer, they had to turn folks away. I think they cut it off at 50, and there were still more individuals that were interested. She's done an absolutely fantastic job in the few months that she's been at Heritage Hill as their principal. And she's talked about a lot of engagement with regard to families for different events they've had there. So we are fortunate as a city to have the elementary school principals that we have in our municipality.
Well, I'll just add to that, Mr. Messer, thank you again for the way that you approached council and administration with the idea. I think it's a great example of where there was an idea, you saw a need from other volunteer work your family had done, and you saw an opportunity to re-engage the neighborhood and the community, bringing that forward the way you did, reaching out to council members and operations and administration and kind of bringing everyone together and sticking with it, respectfully with the big idea. I thought it was great the way that you communicated that, and I'm glad that we're able to work with you in the community to make that happen, or at least parts of it over time. It's just a good example of where, we sit up here, but we're not in every house in every community, so these ideas are welcome. So thank you for coming forward and sharing both the idea, but also that there was results from the idea. So that's helpful too.
All right.
All right, the floor's still open. If anyone else would like to address council for any reason. Second call.
This will be short and quick. When I gave the Civil Service Commission report, I failed to mention something, that is, I request to amend my report to include Assistant City Administrator as present for the meeting, which is Stephanie Morgan, and also Renetta Edwards, the Human Resources Administrator, also present for the meeting. And I make that point because they're so important to the work that we do at Civil Service that I would be remiss to not acknowledge your presence in helping us get through those items that we need to undertake. So again, please accept my apology for that remission. Thank you, Council. All right.
Thank you for updating the report. All right, second call. Third and final call. All right, closing communications from the audience. Next, we'll move on. I believe we have a presentation for Parks Projects 2026. Mr. Charlie Wilson is in the house. Mr. Wilson, the floor is yours. Do we need the TV, or is this?
Yeah, I have the TV ready for us. Here we go.
Oh, that's much nicer. Thank you.
Let me back it up just a little bit here. Okay. So, again, thank you guys all for having me here this evening. I came here to talk about an upcoming project and hopefully projects that we have coming here in the future. A while back, we received some state capital grant money that was originally intended for an ADA playground. However, the state unfortunately gave us a little bit of a haircut from the amount of funding that we needed to initially complete this project. So we went. So basically what happened was over the course of the summer, I reached back out to our private donor and I shared with them some of the amazing, some photos and some, what they had done at Cameron and Underwood Park and what they were able to, with their donation, to be able to complete there. So about 2 months ago or so, they reached out and said, hey, is there anything else that we can do for Springdale? And after talking with the administration, we had a couple projects that we were going to line up for our state capital grant. So we kind of threw out a smorgasbord, so to speak, to say, hey, these are some of the things that we're looking at. Are there anything that kind of catches your eye, whether you want to do one of them, two of them, or all three of them? So we presented all three of them. And the first is addressing our playground need that we have down at the community center. As you can see, though our playground, our existing playground, it's seen better days. It's ADA compliant. It's not ADA accessible. And what that means is it's not terribly easy to use. There are sometimes barriers, such as a transfer platform, not a ramp, so that it's easily accessible. You can also see some weather on this. So when we presented to our private donor, she decided to fund our playground, which is fully ADA accessible, keyword accessible. This is going to go over at the multi-purpose court. We're removing a barrier. It will be all artificial turf. There will be a ramp to clearly go up and down so that anybody, any mobility level can use this playground. We also have some parent seating, which is something that we've heard from our comprehensive plan. Parents need a place to sit. It is right next to our new ADA compliant restrooms that we renovated with that state capital funding, which falls in line. And then, let's see here. So Mr. Yule and I went back down to Cincinnati and went through another round of state capital funding requests. So in that room, we asked that we basically asked for funding to repurpose or resurface our basketball courts, our tennis courts, and then ask for 4 pickleball courts in replace of 2 of those tennis courts. We also asked for some funding for our outdoor fitness court, which I'm going to show you a short little video so you can kind of see what that is exactly.
Hi, I'm Mitch Benadja, founder of the National Fitness Campaign. National Fitness Campaign was founded in 1979 when we opened the first fitness court. Redesigned for the 21st century, the fitness court is the world's best outdoor gym. Our 7-movement, 7-minute system allows you to use your own body weight to get the perfect workout. Easy or hard, it will work for you. Our goal is to build healthy communities by making outdoor fitness an essential part of people's lives so that each day is better than the last. Now more than ever before, it is vital that we move fitness outdoors to remain safe, healthy, and strong.
Michiganders, as soon as we can, we go outside, which is one of the reasons why the fitness court was such an attraction to us. What impressed us most was their basic philosophy that they want to provide world-class fitness for free. Truly, anyone can use it, no matter what your age is, no matter what your physical fitness level is, no matter what your skills are. It is very adaptable.
This fitness court is one of the best things that Citizenship has ever done.
Thousands of certified ambassadors will be trained to deliver classes, challenges, and clinics as part of our National Fitness Campaign. New programs are bringing students outdoors across America. The Fitness Court mobile app is your gateway to enroll in these programs. Simply scan the new digital wall with your phone to access a library of free workouts designed to optimize your experience on the fitness court. Learn the moves and take challenges as we dig deep to create impact for our partners across America. This year, we are thrilled to introduce the Fitness Court Studio, the ultimate community wellness hub, uniting the power of yoga, Zumba, bodyweight fitness, and the arts. Fitness Court Public Art continues to grow and inspire across the country as local artists collaborate to bring beautiful, one-of-a-kind murals to life on Fitness Court and Fitness Court Studios. We're proud to have helped cities of all sizes raise millions of dollars from respected sponsors to support free fitness. Wherever fitness is a priority, you can find a Fitness Court. We're partnering with large cities using urban movement data to map the best locations for healthy infrastructure. We're bringing fitness courts to within 10 minutes of population centers everywhere.
They provide these wraparound services that, from a city's perspective, that's what you want in a partner like this. You want it to come presented to you on a silver platter with a bow tied around. They're one of the best partners, I think, that I personally have ever worked with.
We serve almost 1.2 million members across Michigan. And this partnership really is an opportunity for us to bring scalable, free health and wellness opportunities to our community. So I would actually invite cities and organizations, big and small, to explore the opportunity to invest in fitness courts. To be very honest with you, the feedback from different municipalities and different communities has been very positive.
We are committed to raise over $1 billion to bring the campaign to 5,000 cities and schools, building the largest outdoor fitness movement in the world. Join us. Let's make world-class fitness free.
Let me jump back to my PowerPoint here. So with this, we've been working with the National Fitness Campaign, and we applied for a grant partnered through UC. We have received we have received $60,000 commitment from them, with the assumption that we are able to come up with the remaining funding. As you can kind of see, there is a workout studio on the back side on that picture on the right. And then on the front, there's more of body weight exercises that anybody can kind of get to and work with within their mobility levels. So with the state capital grant, we need approximately $250,000 to finish the outdoor basketball courts. We've secured $60,000 with UC Health, but we still need a remaining $260,000. And then that bottom one, we can wipe that one off. We've already taken care of that accomplishment. But in state capital funding, Mr. Uriel and I have requested $510,000. So wish us luck in that endeavor. And this is an aerial viewpoint of what we're trying to accomplish with our health and wellness campus, making recreation accessible for all. And with that said, I guess I'll answer any questions or anything you guys might have.
Mayor Hawkins.
It really is it's something we haven't had. It's a great opportunity in terms of the ADA accessible playground in the fitness court, and obviously we've been trying to get some things resurfaced with regard to basketball and tennis courts for some time now. So it'll be a great thing. The one thing that Charlie left out is the condition for the donation and the state capital grant is that council has to lead a fitness class on the court once we get the money. Okay.
We'll check the language in the resolution, but I'm sure if it's in there, we'll take care of that. Thank you, Mayor Hawkins. Mr. Wilson, this is a great plan. It's ambitious. Do you have I didn't hear you say, what's the timeline on the grant? Is that, it's listed as 2026 project, but does the grant timeline match that?
So the state capital grant, hopefully hopefully we hear something before May. I would, maybe a little lofty, but generally that's when they'll send it, basically, they'll send it up to the governor, and then it will be determined on what amount we actually receive for the state capital grant. But as far as the UC match, $60,000 would be secured.
I understand the Browns are competing for the same funding up in the north. All right. Is there any other questions? Mr. Gleaves.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is fantastic. Challenge to the council on this. If this is able to come to fruition, is there any timetable on how long it would take to complete something like this?
So with our hope is, obviously, the playground, we are expecting, assuming it passes, that we would hope to have that before Pretzel Fest. That would be a very reasonable request. The fitness courts, that too, depending on when we hear back from the state capitol, is when we would get started immediately. The asphalt still falls in line with the state capital money. So once that gets rolling, hopefully by fall, all things would be completed.
Does this include, do we need to add things, or have we thought about security around this environment? Do we need additional cameras or anything like that in this area, or is that separate in terms of facilities?
So it's interesting you bring that up. We are actually in the middle of pursuing cameras for that outdoor area, as well as replacing some of the outdated cameras inside our facility. So this, our plan is to have that fully secured with surveillance.
So that'd be separate from this. You're working on the camera situation.
Yes, yeah. That money's actually already in the budget, and you guys approved it. Thank you.
I just want to make sure we didn't have to make changes to the security based on this plan. So this is still in line with that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Yule.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, just as Mr. Wilson presented, the kind of the priorities are working from the right side of the screen over to the left. So since the ADA playground, we've already secured that funding. That's a go. So that's a matter of getting that to the table and to the right people who can make that happen. And then our second priority would be the fitness court area, to kind of build out that area, that existing space there. And then since our basketball courts and tennis courts are existing, although are in deteriorating condition, that's kind of our third priority. So depending on what the funding comes back with the state capital money, that will kind of determine how we proceed with the other projects. So we should know, as Mr. Wilson mentioned, hopefully before the beginning of May. That's a request that goes then to Columbus. Our legislators up there tend to give it another review, and then we won't know till the budget is actually signed into law July 1 on what our actual dollar amount would be. But as soon as that's committed, they put us in contact with the appropriate grant administrator, and then we can work on getting those projects started. So the goal is to get them all wrapped up by the end of the year, but obviously we have some competing projects here, so we're going to make sure that we time this out. And Mr. Wilson still is got his nose to the ground, and he's continuing to work with other community partners for some other projects. So hopefully there's more great news to share with council in a couple months on some other projects that he's working towards to really enhance our area. But the overall design of this was to ensure that you didn't need a membership to enjoy outdoor recreation. Yeah. And you didn't have to and if whatever your physical limitations are, you can still have an inviting space to enjoy here in Springdale. So thank you.
So this is being considered more like it's a park extension. It's not part, it's at the rec center facility, but it doesn't require a membership. So this is available to everyone in the community.
Correct.
And then one last question on the art. So in the fitness court, it showed different art on the back. It's had DUC and the city emblem.
Yes.
Is there desire to make that mural an art installation that would rotate, that'd be available to communities or artists to come in and make changes, or is that a fixed?
No, yeah, all the above. So actually part of that grant, if we were to get that full 260 needed for the fitness courts, a portion of that incorporates we are permitted to have a local artist and actually contract them and pay them to do something that the city would deem acceptable on either side. So that would actually be a part of the grant if we got the full amount. There are also other options where you can pick a standard display, but we went for the full amount because we would like to try to commission a local artist for that design. So.
Would that be a static design, or would that change over time? Like.
Oh, it very would. It could change over time if we decided to, especially if it started to look a little rough. You'd probably want to change it aesthetically.
Yeah, it's just I've seen some communities have static art installations basically in some of the community areas that they would rotate over time. It's a designated area, and they'd submit their concept art, but then it would change, every 6 months or 3 months. It would be available for artists to participate. I didn't know if that was part of this or that's just the future maybe.
Well, it is something definitely we could weigh in the future. But as far as the additional, the initial construction, we have that opportunity to commission a local artist.
Great.
So.
This is wonderful. Thank you for coming in. Is there anything else on your presentation?
No, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right, next we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. First up in ordinances, we have ordinance number 05-2026. This is the first reading. Mr. Jacobs.
Ordinance number 05-2026, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into a mutual aid agreement for law enforcement between the city of Springdale and Westchester Township. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code provides that political subdivisions may enter into contracts for the purpose of obtaining police protection or additional police protection, and for the purpose of obtaining additional police through mutual aid agreements, and whereas the city of Springdale and Westchester Township intend to provide reciprocal police services across jurisdictional lines to enhance the capabilities of law enforcement for the protection of citizens and property throughout their respective municipalities. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Springdale, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring, Section 1, that the mayor and city administrator are hereby authorized to execute a mutual aid agreement for law enforcement substantially in conformance with the attached Exhibit A, which is incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, the council hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the passage of this legislation were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council, and if its committees, if any, which resulted in formal action, were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect on the earliest date allowed by law.
Council, this was the first reading of ordinance number 5-2026. Are there any questions this evening? But before I take questions, I wanted to draw your attention to one item. I passed out at the dais a single page that shows a small update, a minor change that is in Appendix A that was in the original ordinance. This should be considered part of the reading that you have. It changes one word from provide to assist with. It's important to the lawyers, so I want to make sure that we had that correction. Just so as you know, as you're considering it, that is part of the appendix that we're considering tonight. And that's a change on Section C, independent police action. All right. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a matter of clarification on this, Mr. Yule, I understand this is a renewal from years ago. Does this mutual aid, does that include EMS and fire protection or just law enforcement?
Mr. Yule.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a mutual aid agreement for law enforcement services. I'll double check to see what we have in place for our fire and EMS. But I do know that we crossed the border quite a bit, sharing resources and our EMS services. So,
okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will see this again at our next meeting. Next up, we have ordinance number 6-2026. This is also a first reading. Mr. Jacobs.
Ordinance number 6-2026, an ordinance accepting a proposal under the Omnia Partners Cooperative Purchasing Program and authorizing the mayor and the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Game Time in the amount of $349,607.09 for the purchase and installation of certain improvements at the Springdale Community Center. Whereas the Omnia Partners Cooperative has advertised and received bids for the purchase and installation of certain park improvements, including but not limited to playground equipment and synthetic turf, and whereas the city wishes to purchase and install certain park improvements, including but not limited to playground equipment and synthetic turf at the Springdale Community Center. And whereas Game Time was the lowest and best bidder for the purchase and installation of certain improvements, including but not limited to playground equipment and synthetic turf, with a total bid of $349,607.09. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Springdale, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring. Section 1. The City of Springdale accepts the Omnia Partners cooperative specifications for the purchase and installation of, including but not limited to, playground equipment and synthetic turf, and agrees that Game Time is the lowest and best bidder for the purchase and installation in the amount of $349,607.09. A copy of the quote provided is attached as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, that the mayor and city administrator are hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with Game Time for the purchase and installation of the improvements at the Springdale Community Center. Section 3, that the Finance Officer Tax Commissioner is hereby authorized to pay Game Time the sum of $349,607.09 for the improvements at the Springdale Community Center. Section 4, the council hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the passage of this legislation were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council, and of its committees, if any, which resulted in formal action, were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 5, that this ordinance shall take effect on the earliest date allowed by law.
Council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 6-2026. Are there any questions this evening or discussion? All right, seeing none, we will see this again at our next meeting. All right, next we'll move on to ordinance number 7-2026. This is also a first reading. Mr. Jacobs.
Ordinance number 7-2026, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into an agreement with Sandy Shores Partners Incorporated, doing business as Closets by Design, related to a job creation and retention program agreement. Whereas Sandy Shores Partners Incorporated, doing business as Closets by Design, has requested assistance from the City of Springdale, the city, in the form of an incentive to encourage job creation and retention, and whereas the city is willing to provide the requested local incentive pursuant to the terms of a job creation and retention incentive program agreement between Sandy Shores Partners Incorporated, doing business as Closets by Design, and the city, the agreement. And whereas the city believes entering into the agreement will bring economic benefits to the city. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Springdale, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring, Section 1, that the mayor and city administrator are hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with Sandy Shores Partners Incorporated, doing business as Closets by Design, related to local job creation and retention substantially in the form attached as Exhibit A, which is incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, that the Finance Officer Tax Commissioner is hereby authorized to make payments to Sandy Shores Partners Incorporated, doing business as Closets by Design, pursuant to the terms of the agreement. Section 3, the council hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the passage of this legislation were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and of its committees, if any, which resulted in formal action, were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, that this ordinance shall take effect on the earliest date allowed by law.
Council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 7, 2026. Any questions or discussion this evening? All right, seeing none, we will see this again at our next meeting. All right, next up, we have ordinance number 8, 2026. This is another first reading. Mr. Jacobs, when you're ready.
Ordinance number 8, 2026, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into an agreement with Radiant Development Group, LLC, doing business as Shine of Cincinnati, related to a job creation and retention program agreement. Whereas Radiant Development Group, LLC, doing business as Shine of Cincinnati, has requested assistance from the city of Springdale, the city, in the form of an incentive to encourage job creation and retention, and whereas the city is willing to provide the requested local incentive pursuant to the terms of job creation and retention incentive program agreement between Radiant Development Group, LLC, doing business as Shine of Cincinnati, and the city, the agreement, and whereas the city believes entering into the agreement will bring economic benefits to the city. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Springdale, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring, Section 1, that the mayor and city administrator are hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with Radiant Development Group, LLC, doing business as Shine of Cincinnati, related to local job creation and retention, substantially in the form attached as Exhibit A, which is incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, that the Finance Officer Tax Commissioner is hereby authorized to make payments to Radiant Development Group, LLC, doing business as Shine of Cincinnati, pursuant to the terms of the agreement. Section 3, the council hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the passage of this legislation were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and of its committees, if any, which resulted in formal action, were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this ordinance shall take effect on the earliest date allowed by law.
Council, you've heard the first reading of ordinance number 8, 2026. Any questions or discussion this evening? All right, seeing none, we will see this again at our next meeting. All right, next we'll move on to Resolution 3, 2026. Mr. Jacobs, when you're ready.
Resolution number 3, 2026, a resolution supporting the City of Springdale's participation in the 2026 National Fitness Campaign. Whereas safe, accessible, and well-maintained community recreation areas provide vital spaces for physical activity, social connection, and healthy childhood development, and are essential to public health and strong communities. And whereas the National Fitness Campaign promotes accessible outdoor wellness opportunities through the development of fitness courts and community-centered health initiatives, and whereas participation in the National Fitness Campaign aligns with the city's desire to improve quality of life, promote healthy lifestyles, and invest in equitable recreational infrastructure, and whereas the City of Springdale has applied to participate in the National Fitness Campaign's 2026 initiative to install and activate outdoor fitness courts nationwide, and has been awarded a $60,000 University of Cincinnati Health Grant from the NFC Grant Committee and statewide partners to promote and implement a free-to-the-public fitness court. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Springdale, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring. Section 1, that the Council of the City of Springdale Council hereby supports the city's participation in the 2026 National Fitness Campaign to implement an outdoor fitness court program and make fitness free for community residents and visitors. Section 2, the Council further supports efforts to pursue funding, partnerships, and implementation of the fitness court initiative at the Springdale Community Center and fulfill requirements of the UC Health Grant Program. Section 3, the Council hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the passage of this legislation were taken in an open meeting of this Council, and that all deliberations of this Council and of its committees, if any, which resulted in formal action, were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with applicable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect on the earliest date allowed by law.
Council, you've heard the reading of Resolution 3, 2026. It can be acted on tonight. What is your pleasure?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions or discussion? I just want to say one more time, thank you again, Mr. Wilson, for the work that you and administration did obtaining the grant, not just the work for planning, but it does take work to do these grants, and not all communities do it. I do want you to know that we do see you doing that work, and we appreciate it. It does help our budget significantly and helps the community a lot more than even we probably realize, just having the facilities available and funded like this. So thank you. All right, seeing no other questions, Ms. Browder, if you poll council.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Gleaves?
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Webster?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye. Resolution R3, 2026 passes with 7 affirmative votes. All right. Ms. McFarland.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion to move to executive session under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G, to conference with counsel related to pending or imminent litigation. G.
G5.
Matters regarded to be kept confidential by federal law or regulations.
It's 3.
3. I'm sorry, G3, to conference with counsel related to pending or imminent litigation.
Is there a second?
Motion to adopt.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion about moving to executive session? All right. See none, Ms. Browder, if you poll council, I'll move to executive session.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Gleaves?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Webster?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye. Just for the record, we are not expecting action out of this meeting, out of this discussion, but it's informational. So we are in executive session. We will return. All right, council has returned from executive session, and we're going to move on to old business. Is there any old business anyone on council or administration would like to bring forward this evening? All right, seeing none, new business. Is there any new business anyone on council or administration would like to bring forward? I do have one item that I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of. I did receive a letter from Planning Commission that Mr. Jacobs had referenced in his committee report related to the rezoning of the 11550 Century Boulevard. That does need to come to council, so the proposal is that will be at our February 4th meeting for the first reading of that zoning request change, and then February 18th, our second meeting. We'll have the second reading and advertise a public hearing for that, so if administration take care of that, unless there's any concerns about the timing. All right, so we'll plan on doing that for those meetings. Any other new business? All right, seeing none, meetings and announcements. Any meetings and announcements? Mr. Yule.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one quick announcement. I would like to publicly recognize Officer Jim Grindle for your many years of service here to the city of Springdale. Here shortly, he will be leaving us and enjoying retirement. But Officer Grindle has a combined over, I believe, 41 years, between 45, wow, between here and the city of North College Hill. Is there anywhere else? Those two. Thank you very much for your service. We've enjoyed having you as a member of our police department in the city of Springdale. You're always welcome to come back to our council meetings and just sit in the audience and participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling that out. I appreciate it. Mr. Gleaves.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Zoning Code Revision Committee is scheduled to meet the 26th at 2:30 in a conference room, and the next day, the BZA is scheduled to meet at 7 p.m. in these chambers. That's all I have.
Any other meetings or announcements? All right, seeing none, we'll move to communications from the audience. This is the second and final opportunity this evening. If anyone in the audience would like to address council for any reason, simply come forward to the podium, state your name and address, and you can address council for up to 5 minutes. The floor is now open.
My name is Dora Webster, live at 12142 Peak Drive. I just had a couple of questions on the, excuse me. Can we get a clarification on Sunny Shores pantries, where they're going to be located, how many jobs you're going to create? And same with the next ordinance.
When you say next ordinance, you're referring to ordinance number 7 and ordinance number 8, the job retention
Yes.
agreements?
Yes.
Okay. So I know in the appendix numbers, there's information. That's probably something, it's probably best that we can have administration follow back up with you on those numbers. I just don't have them in front of me right now.
So, at what point is that gonna be publicly announced? How many jobs are gonna create and where they're gonna be located?
Mr. Yule.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know that we call out specifically all the number of jobs in these incentive agreements. And I think they have some basic projections on what the earnings will be for their establishment. But I will try and find out specifically. I know Mr. Kukta has some more details when putting these together, and I'll get that over information that I can that is public.
Do you have any idea where they're gonna be located?
Yes, they're looking at Century Boulevard.
Oh, both of
One of the
these?
locations, one of the empty offices on Century Boulevard, yes.
That's tied to the rezoning, it's gonna be,
Correct. It's tied to that, and there's about a $3 million improvement to the actual structure as well that they need to do to accommodate their space. But yeah, I can get you some of that information.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to be careful. The reason we don't want to give numbers off the hip, shooting from the hip for it, because some of it is proprietary and privileged information. So we can share what we can outside of the meeting.
I understand.
All right, the floor is still open. If anyone else would like to address council for any reason. Second call. Third and final call. All right, at this point, I'm closing communications from the audience, and we'll move on to a recap of legislative items and legislation still in development. Mr. Jacobs.
Council, as you review your legislative summary, item 1, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into a mutual aid agreement for law enforcement between the city of Springdale and Westchester Township was addressed by ordinance 5, 2026, receiving a first reading. Item 2, an ordinance accepting a proposal under the Omnia Partners Cooperative Purchasing Program and authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into an agreement with Game Time in the amount of $349,607.09 for the purchase and installation of certain improvements at the Springdale Community Center was addressed by ordinance 6, 2026, receiving a first reading. Item 3, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into an agreement with Sandy Shores Partners Incorporated, doing business as Closets by Design, related to a job creation and retention program agreement, was addressed by ordinance 7, 2026, receiving a first reading. Item 4, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to enter into an agreement with Radiant Development Group, LLC, doing business as Shine of Cincinnati, related to a job creation and retention program agreement, was addressed by ordinance 8, 2026, receiving a first reading. Item 5, a resolution supporting the City of Springdale's participation in the 2026 National Fitness Campaign was addressed by Resolution 3, 2026, receiving 7 affirmative votes. And in development for our next meeting, we have item 6, an ordinance accepting public road improvements on Glen Springs Drive. That's coming before council on February the 4th, as well as a new item added tonight, a rezoning request for property at Century Boulevard will be in front of council at our February 4th meeting as well. That's all I have unless there's anything else from administration.
No, but I did want to add, so to the question that came up a minute ago related to the 2 job retention agreements, it occurred to me that some of the numbers you might be looking for are actually listed in the administrator's report. So if you go into the website or get that, some numbers are shared inside of there in terms of the payroll amount that would be coming to it. So if you want to get an idea of the scale of the jobs, I don't believe it includes the numbers, but I do know that it includes the payroll amounts that we use to base those agreements on. So if you don't want to wait for administration, that is available publicly as soon as those are posted. And that's listed under those same items that Mr. Jacobs just referenced. So some of that is public already. Any other questions or comments or things to add in terms of recap or legislation still in development? All right, seeing none, then all that's left before us is item 16.
Move to adjourn.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.